What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If you haven't yet watched it, definitely go and check that out. And yeah, we're going to start on the daily on dollar. And as you know, I am looking for an up close week because I'm looking for dollar to try and trade up to this level 110.426. I'm looking for this level to get traded to because this is the top of a weekly fair value gap which it's been trading through currently. So you'll see that today delivered pretty much just as anticipated. We traded down into the volume imbalance, which I called out. Also a bullish order block. This is the open of it. And then you'll see how price pretty much respected that the Sunday opening price. And as we drop down to the lower time frames, we'll take a closer look at that. We did overshoot this range by a little bit. I do believe this is a 4-hour range, but I'll talk about that in the lower time frames. But moving into tomorrow, I do believe we have CPI. Let me double check. I think off the back of CPI, we will get a nice, yeah, we've got CPI. So I would like to think that we can get a reversal and that we can create the low tomorrow if we haven't yet already done that. So we're trading in this volume imbalance currently, but there is another volume imbalance right here that I do think we need to pay attention to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delineate this right here. And I want to see if price can get into there, but I'd like to think that this can create the low of the week. Another reason I'd want to see price trade here is because that would be us taking out this Friday low. So there's obviously going to be sell stops below that. Daily lows are generally targeted. And then I'd like to think that we can start to see price start to pull in on itself and start working itself up to these premiums. Now don't get me wrong, I doubt that this is all going to happen off the back of CPI. But moving into tomorrow, I do want to see a continuation lower and then start actively looking for that reversal for the week. Excuse me. So then we can start looking for potential longs. But it's nice to see how we delivered today. Let's go down to the 4-hour. And you'll see this is that level I was talking about. This was a breaker. You can see how we tapped into it once. We did run it one more time. So we got high, low, higher, high, traded up into that low. And then you can see prices continue on lower. This is that daily low I was just talking about. And this is that volume imbalance. Now, as you can see on the 4-hour, the volume imbalance isn't giving us a fair value gap necessarily. And neither is this volume imbalance, which isn't ideal. But nonetheless, we know that this is a daily imbalance, so we're happy for price to trade down into it. And then, like I said, I'd want to find support and then see price turn around at it. So just to clear things up a bit, I'm going to get rid of a few things. I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not really paying much attention to that anymore. This is the Sunday opening price, so I will keep that here for now because we do need to acknowledge the fact that we're on the discount side of it. We're pretty much filling this volume imbalance, but we can use that for measurement. And then these are the lows I'm looking at, that daily low to get taken as we move into tomorrow. So let's go to the 1-hour and you'll see I have my daily dividers. Again, these are those relative equal lows, so let's get those delineated for sell side liquidity. And we'll just move this to the right. And then there is a bullish order block inside this volume imbalance, which price may want to trade into. But generally speaking, I want to see if we can dip our toes into that and then start to leave it and trade on higher. And that would be ideal for me because that means that that volume imbalance has been traded to in the discount. And then we can start hunting for premium PD arrays, such as this Tuesday high, and then these Monday highs as well. Especially considering we only rallied above that Monday. We only rallied above Sunday's high slightly to run out these stops, and now we're dropping below it. But if we're expecting an up close week, then we should start to look for us to trade back through it. But here you can see how we traded through that Sunday opening price. Look how price respected it. Yes, we overshot it slightly, but look at how price has bumped it and then left it. This is why the Sunday opening price is so important to me and why I kept bringing our attention to it in yesterday's video. So if you haven't watched that just yet, make sure to check it out. And you'll see that it's not like we traded to nowhere. We traded to the breaker. So if we look at this high, low, higher high, clear displacement. If we look at this low, this is the breaker low. And you can see that price tapped that. So that would have been a shorting opportunity, fair value gap, breaker low. And then where we want to offset our positions, below here. And like I said, if we overshoot this, then I'm looking down into this deep discount. And that's fine if price does want to get down there. It's just that ideally, I'd like to think that we can just fill this imbalance and get out because I do believe we're still bullish, and I do want to see us fill this weekly imbalance. So that's what's giving me hope at this point. but nonetheless, there's still the possibility that price may want to wander on deeper. Another thing to take note of is the fact that we do have a bullish order block. So these two down close candles are bullish order blocks. If we look at the volume of it, and then we drop back down to the 15 minute, you'll see that 50% of that is here. So 50% is the very lowest I'd expect price to go. Price shouldn't be able to drop any lower than that. And you'll see that also lines up with this breaker here, low, high, lower, low, expansion. So price could easily tap into that red level and then trade on higher. It's just the more shallow we stay, the higher the likelihood that we'll have a large expansion on the upside, and that's what I'm ideally looking for. So that's just something to take into consideration moving into tomorrow. In fact, let's get that high marked out just so we know it's there, because if we start overrunning this, we now have a target that we can look for price to try and land at, so to speak, as in where we'd want to see it stop in its tracks. And that just gives us a little bit more idea of where price is going, because it's very easy to watch price run and it keeps running and then you're like, okay, where's it going? But at least we know, okay, if we run these lows quite aggressively, then it's likely we are going to be heading to this high. And you can see there's a nice little fair value gap down here as well that price may want to try and fill. So we do need to take these things into consideration. Not ideal, because it is a very deep discount and getting out of it will be difficult for price. But like I said, we've traded into this imbalance, so let's get rid of that. It's not reacting to this bullish order block currently, so I'm not too concerned, but I will keep the open off it just so that we're aware that we're inside that bullish order block. And then, like I said, we have some beautiful sell stops here and below here anyway that price may want to try and tag. So if we see some heavy sell side price action, we know where it's heading. So yeah, easier said than done, especially on CPI, but generally speaking, I'm looking for the reversal of the wheat to be happening tomorrow. And with CPI, it's not unusual for it to whip both sides, so we might find that it drops lower and then starts to trade aggressively higher. You know, so it might wick down into one of these ranges, maybe to this level or down to here, and then instantly start trading higher. Or it could be the case that we maybe fill this in London and then we already start trading higher, and then we can just continue with that moving into the new day. So these are just things to consider. But I'm looking for us to get out from underneath this Sunday level, moving into tomorrow and into Thursday this week. So that's going to be everything on dollar. Hope that will make sense. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm just expecting a continuation deeper, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we do take out that this level right here and start to reach quite a deep discount. Let's go to GBP USD. Now GBP's been struggling to rally the same way that dollar's been falling, and this is good because if we are to have a reversal tomorrow, it means that pound will likely be the pair to trade because it's clearly weaker. So we'll probably see much more expansion on pound, which is supportive of what we wanted to see. One thing to take note of is this is an imbalance right here, which I wanted to see us trade it. Let's go to the daily real quick. So not the best of days, but this isn't the best. Let's go to 4 hour. This is the imbalance I've been wanting pound to trade to for a while. You can see it failed to do that here. It's failed to do that here. And then even today, we didn't manage to take out these highs. So price is really struggling on pound. And I don't think, looking at how much it's struggling, I doubt it's going to be able to reach up there, which is fine because that lines us up nicely for the potential shorting opportunities that may occur on the back of this. And also that would then act as a breakaway gap. So that's just something to take into consideration. We'll make this yellow for now because if that stays open, it's likely pound is going to run aggressively towards its sell side targets, which I'm not complaining about. And then we have this volume imbalance, right? This inversion pair value gap. So you can see our price is kind of gyrating around it. So we traded on the downside, above it, failed to find support, traded back above it again. So moving into tomorrow, I'll be watching this level again to see can it provide support. I doubt it, to be honest. I'd like to think that price can drop back below it again and then just carry on trading lower, because here's our Sunday opening price. Let me just get that marked out properly. And you can see our price is traded, yes, we've swung above it. We made a high here, we made a failure swing here, and you can see we're bumping it again. So if we stay below this, then it's likely that pound's going to have quite a weak week, assuming that dollar does reverse the way we want it to. We'll have quite a weak week on pound, and it will be able to drop quite aggressively into our sell side targets, which are here, and then eventually down here. And these are lows from ages ago. These lows, I'm looking to see if we can get down into those. So yeah, in terms of shorting, it's going to be pound, which I'd want to be trading tomorrow if we do get the reversal that we're looking for. I doubt we're going to find the support we need. It's all depending on this inversion fair value gap, because as far as I'm concerned, it should have already provided support here. But the fact it's failed and we keep bumping it like this and we're just gyrating around it, is showing a level of weakness which I'm not too keen on. But we do have relative equal highs up here, 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 and here. It's just that if we're bearish, we shouldn't be looking for these highs to get violated. So there's no reason that price should need to find support in this, and it should be able to drop below it, use it as resistance, and continue to run to our sell side targets. So yeah, that's also something to look out for. It was interesting to see. I had this marked out because this is a breaker, low, high, low, low. And then as I saw pound dropping today, I was watching, okay, let's see how it treats it when it touches this. When we started digging deeper, like aggressively like this into this breaker, I was like, okay, yeah, pound's not the one, because it's too weak. It's not, it should react off it. Like it should go ping and be able to trade higher, but it failed to do that, which is why it wasn't the best pair to be trading. And you can see there's a lot of back and forth price action, very high resistance conditions. So I do think ideally that CPI will help that. One thing to take note of is though, although we're getting howling consolidation, pound does have high impact news at 2 a.m. So these highs which pound has failed to take here and here, you know, so on euro we've already delivered. We're pretty much delivering to these highs already, but GBP is the one that's failing. So we might find that on the back of that, pound gets a nice boost and can then easily run out these highs in the morning and then start to pull back on itself, again in line with dollar being able to drop down into its discount and then start to pull back on itself. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. Defo have these PTA rates marked out, but I'll be watching this fair value gap, because if price manages to stay if we're in London and we're still above this inversion fair value gap from the 4 hour, then there's no reason for us not to be able to go long and expect these highs to get targeted on the back of the inflation news. And then move it into CPI, then we can start thinking about the midweek reversal. But if we drop below it and we're seeing weakness in this area during London, then I'd want to see us carry on to trade lower. But this might just be what we call a six sister approach, in that it's delayed in its expansion because of the high impact news that's going to happen off the back of 2 a.m. And we might see the impact of that. Excuse me. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But yeah, interesting day. Not the cleanest. I'll just be watching very closely this inversion fair value gap and the way that we're hanging around this Sunday opening price, because once we're above it, we should be able to find support on it. A bit like with dollar, how once we drop below it, we bumped it here, consolidated it here, but overall we left it. GBP is just kind of hanging around there, which isn't ideal. But these relative equal highs do look very juicy, I'm not going to lie. As in, I wouldn't be surprised if, inflation rate managed to get us up there. So let's get those highs marked out as a potential run on stops. And then we know it's possible that price may want to rally into that, and then we might get the reversal we need for the sell side later on in the day, because I think it's going to be CPI that gives us that reversal. So we're going to finish up on Euro USD now. Now Euro's delivered absolutely gorgeously. And if we go to daily, you'll see how we have had a massive up day on Euro. Completely traded through this fair value gap, so now we have an inversion fair value gap, which is interesting. And it looks to me like we're reaching for this gap up here, and we're also in this bearish order block. So similar to dollar, but obviously inverted. I want to see if we can trade up into that fair value gap, and then I want to see if we can pull out of it. Let's go to the 4 hour. We have this buy side liquidity. We're nearly at it. Again, in the morning, we have inflation rate. No, we don't. We have high impact news at 4 a.m. on Euro. So again, there's a reason that price may want to rally in the morning. I'm expecting us to rally in the morning, basically. On GBP and Euro, I want to see us rallying. And then as we move to the New York session, that's when I'd be looking for that 8:30 reversal for the week, ideally, because this might be the premium PDA rate that we need to trade to. But yeah, this is my target on Euro. Once we're traded into there, then I want to see price leave it. Ideally, the 50% level, it can fill it, but I'm looking for that 50% level to get touched. and then I want to see if price can leave it, and we can again have that weekly reversal and start hunting for sell stops for the rest of the week, moving into Thursday and Friday. But yeah, crazy day on euro. Nice to see that this was our original target, and obviously we traded to that. But when we overshoot it like this and we go right through the bearish order block, like this, it's saying to us, okay, where's our next stop? As in, this bearish order block isn't enough to turn price around. So it's obviously going to continue rallying, and then this is our next target, this daily fair value gap, which was very clear on the daily as well. So there's reason that we want to see price trade up there. And again, you can see our price look at how we traded above it and then found support in it. So we want to see that continued rally. Again, we're above that Sunday price, and look at how price found support here, found support on it, rallying into the premium. And then it's a matter of waiting and seeing, okay, are we going to get a nice reversal for the week, and are we going to continue lower, which is ideally what I want to see, because overall you got to remember my bias is bullish in that I want to see dollar fill this weekly fair value gap. This is what I'm looking for dollar to fill. I'll just show you guys now. This is the top of the fair value gap. So I want to see if dollar can fill it. But if price keeps dropping aggressively for the rest of the week, then it's likely we're not going to fill it. And this is all we're getting out of dollar for now until we're in this discount. And we'll know that probably tomorrow. It's just that the way that price is delivering this week, it seems like we're going to create the low on Wednesday, or Wednesday on dollar anyway. And then I'd like to think that we can come back into its range. A bit like on, however, GBP, it's possible it's made its low on, it's made its high, already. But it depends how it acts around inflation rate. So difficult week in general, but we know where we want to see price. We know I want to see euro get up here, and I want to see price leave it. And if it doesn't, then it's likely we're just going to keep rallying. And if that's the case, at that point, dollar will keep dropping, and it will drop aggressively and run out our stops. And then we can start looking at these lows below here, because these are some beautiful relative equal lows below here for dollar. It's just that whether price wants to go to it now is another story. So that's because, remember, this is an original consolidation right here, and we're simply returning to it. And this is usually where reaccumulation occurs, at the consolidation. So there's no reason that we can't reverse out of it and get back above that Sunday level. So yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list. Definitely send some messages in the Discord, guys. I'm lonely in there. And yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous delivery. How we found support on the ranges, which I'm calling out. Let's get rid of a few things. Yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for these relative equal highs to get tagged for sure. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, blah, 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 and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.